Good morning. Hope you had a meaningful, inspirational Passover with friends and family, able to celebrate and to contemplate what it means to be Jewish, what are our values, what it means to be free, who we are as a people. Passover here was amazing, spent with family and friends. My parents were here for part of Passover, our children were home. Bruni's sister and my sister, we had a lovely Passover. Now we're on to Parshat Shemini. And in Parshat Shemini, we read the laws of kosher. Which animals are kosher to eat and which animals are not kosher to eat. Now, today it's very easy and accessible to get kosher. You go into Publix, you go into Stop and Shop, you go into Star Market, you go into Costco. You have kosher restaurants. Even here in Boston, we have cold press and veggie crust and Tom China and the butchery, etc., etc. But the Torah enumerates 4 animals that are not kosher. And those 4 animals that the Torah enumerates, the reason why the Torah enumerates them is because there are 2 laws that make an animal kosher: split hooves and that they chew its cud. And these 4 animals, the Torah enumerates them because they only have one and not the other. Obviously there's many animals that have none, but the Torah doesn't tell us those. It only tells us the ones that have one and not the other. Now, the question, of course, is why does the Torah have to enumerate these 4? It could just say if it doesn't have the 2 signs, you're done with it. The second interesting thing is that the Torah tells us, when it says these 4 animals are not kosher, the Torah first tells us the sign that they have. For example, the pig, the Torah tells us it has split hooves, but it doesn't chew its cud, etc., etc. And why does it do that? You know, the answer is a powerful lesson, and especially in the world and places we're living in now. Cleveland University, State University, years ago made a study. They took these 2 guys, John and David, and they made them identical resumes, letters, universities they went to, everything for work. The only difference is that when it came to John, they wrote 1 extra line, that John has a hard time getting along with people. And they took these 2 resumes and they gave them to the same companies. And who do you think the companies hired? Of course, the companies hired the person, John, who it said has a hard time getting along with people. Why? Because it made it real. The other resume was so perfect, it sounded unreal. So this guy, John, he had the same qualities, but he also had a deficiency. He also had a challenge, which made it seem real. Says the Klei Yakar, one of the explanations on the Torah, that's why the Torah warns us specifically these 4 animals are not kosher. And that's why the Torah tells us first the positive thing they have. Because what the Torah is telling us is that to be kosher, you have to be honest. You have to be real. You can't lie and fool yourself of who you are and what you represent. And therefore, for example, the pig, because the pig sticks out its hooves and says, I'm kosher, even though it doesn't chew its cud, the Torah says that itself is not kosher. The fact that you're trying to fool someone and lie and not be honest with who you are. You know, one of the things that have been troubling us since October 7th is many, many people who go around saying, as a Jew. And the moment they say as a Jew, you know that the next thing they're going to come is to criticize the Jewish people, to criticize the Jewish country of Israel, and to speak out against Israel. And the moment sometimes they say, as a Jew, it's almost like the pig sticking out its split hooves, but then not telling us that it doesn't chew its cud. It's a painful thing, but it's something that we have to realize and remember. Just here in Brookline, we have elections, I think on May 8th, and there's candidates that go around with Jewish names and say they're Jewish, they are Jewish, but their values don't line up with protecting the Jewish community and standing up against anti-Semitism. And I'll tell you a litmus test of what to know. For example, there's this big uproar, of course, in the last 6 weeks. The Trump administration has been taking leaders of the Palestinian movement that support Hamas and terrorize Jewish students on campus and have been deporting them if they're on a green card or if they're here on a visa. Now, I of course believe in due process, and I of course understand that every case and every person is different. But many of the Jewish people that are coming to defense of these people are people whose voice we didn't hear when it came to protect hundreds of thousands of Jewish students who were being terrorized on American campuses for a year and a half. Many of these people who are being so vocal to protect these people who literally hate and fight and terrorize Jewish students were quiet after October 7th or throughout the months and months afterwards that Israel was fighting for its survival. And to me, that should tell you enough. The moment they say, as a Jew, I'm here to protect someone whose values are so against anything Jewish, who's fighting the Jewish people, who's supporting a terror organization. Take, for example, the kid from Colombia. You know, they show these videos of him. Everyone's forgetting that after October 7th, he wouldn't even say that October 7th was something bad. And he literally engaged and encouraged and was a leader of a movement that terrorized Jewish kids in Colombia. And what the Torah is telling us is that all these people, especially the ones that say, as a Jew, who are coming to support and protect, so to speak, these students, because everyone has to have due process. The first question you ask them, well, where were you for 18 months? Where were you when your brothers and sisters were being terrorized and demonized? And their first right amendment of them being able to practice their religion and not have hate was ignored by the universities and was ignored by our administration. So, may Hashem give us that we should remember our values, and we should remember who we are and who we have to stand up for first and foremost. Have an awesome day.